You know, the local media has an agenda that they're going to serve. I don't know who's in charge of it or what it is, if it's like a headless monster.
You know, I was pretty happy with that one at Gerbils the other night.
Oh,
to be
yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
That was a good pizza.
Yeah.
Fat wallets and empty hearts. Which
empty hearts.
It's insane how little musicians get. So, if you're interested in support, not just me, but any musician that you like, one of the best ways to do that, it sounds old school because it is purchase their music, purchase their merch, you know.
Hey guys, this is Mark from Rat Rod.
Hi, this is Mikey P from Skell.
Hey, this is Jeff from the Bell Jumpers.
Probably be Paul, because he's awesome.
This is Jessica for the band Dimitas. You're listening to Pennsylvania Rock Show.
What's up, everyone? You are tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 770. You are tuned in on musicfrom412.com, buildascene.com, xrpradio.co.uk out of the Highlands of Scotland, megarockradio.net, and 107.1 KFGD out of St. Louis, Missouri, Rudu Radio out of Texas and California. And like always, I feel like I forgot somebody, but it's probably not the one I forgot last week. At the top of the show, you heard a brand new song from the band Broom called I Wish I Knew, and a new song to both Music from 412 and Build a Scene. It is called When the Love Is Gone by the Xander Damos Band. It is from 2020, but they just released the video for it, so they are pushing the single, and you got to hear it here. With me tonight are Amy and Stefan from the Parking Pad. What's up, guys?
Hey, Bill.
Hey, how you doing?
So I've been following along a little bit since Amy contacted me a few months ago. So I have an idea what the Parking Pad is, but I have a feeling that the listeners and viewers might not. So if you could just give us like a brief synopsis of what you have going on there.
Sure. We started in 2021 as a house party during COVID, when everybody was still closed. All of the venues were still kind of shuttered, and bands were looking for places to play, and our friends were looking for places to hear music. And so we started with one and added one a month for 5 months, and have done sort of 4 or 5 house concerts a year now. This is going into our 5th season. And so we're up to 20. We also book at Dormont VFW every month that we're not booking at the house, and have had other great opportunities at the Hollywood Theater and through Dormont Arts, Art in the Park, and Dormont Pride as well. And so we're we've grown into sort of a once a month promoter of local music here in Dormont.
So you actually people come and sit in your yard and watch the bands basically in a driveway, right?
Well, it's like
4
townhomes. So our neighbors get involved from the very beginning. And we have a nice alley right behind it. So it's basically sometimes when the crowd gets pretty large, it actually turns into kind of a circle, theater in the round, if you will, where the band plays in the center of the crowd sometimes.
Yeah, they're literally playing from our parking pad, which is a 2-car parking surface 3 feet off of the yard. And so it's a great stage. Most people sit in the yard. The band faces the house, and everybody faces away from the house to the band, and come inside for our community potluck. And Stefan smokes meats every show, and so it's become quite a scene here. Yeah.
So the video portion of what we're doing tonight was actually born out of COVID too. I used to only do it audio, and I also used to bring everybody live into my living room, and but that stopped before COVID though.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot too.
Well, same basic idea, except they were not playing in my in my parking pad. They were playing in my living room.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's cool. But once a week, that's aggressive.
Yeah, it was. When I started, I was a substitute teacher, and bands were coming in on Wednesday nights, and I would be leaving in the morning to go sub, and there would still be people passed out in my house.
That's what we like about ours. It seems like as soon as the music ends, everybody goes home, and we're like, "Oh, that's kind of nice. We can go inside,
Yeah.
tear down and do what we need to do." But yeah, everybody kind of vacates, and so if we want the party to keep going, it can. But most of the time, we're not really feeling it after we've been working hard to get it together all day long.
I mean, the production sometimes takes all day to get through, considering we start smoking meat at, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning. So when we hit curfew around 10. And everybody is very respectful, always leaves on time.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody that ever had to really spend the night.
No.
Well, to put it into a little more perspective, in 2004, I was 28. So.
Oh yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yeah. It would not be happening now.
Yeah. Right.
There's a lot more gray here.
Oh, Stefan worked a show the other night. He did the lights for Sam Janwich up at Squirrel Hill Sports Bar, and it was at 10 to 2, and at 1:45, it seemed like there was no end in sight. And I was like, I'm gonna go. I have to get out of here. I was tired. I was exhausted, and they ended up playing another 30 minutes, 40 minutes until
they played 1 minute till 2. It was interesting. They said, I ran into Tony the next day, and I said, "You guys played pretty late." And he goes, "Yeah, almost made it till 2." I was like, "You may as well just call it."
Yeah.
I once upon a time, I built their website, Squirrel Hill Sports Bar.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I really, really like their venue, especially now that they added lights, because they didn't have them.
Yeah.
It was a nice addition. It's well done. I brought my own light board just to make sure that I knew how to run it, but everything was really well set up there. It's really nice in that extra theater room that they have.
I wish it was somewhere where parking was a little easier, though.
Oh,
it's funny. I went there for a site visit, and I was able to snag the parking spot right in front of the building. And then last week I was able to snag the spot right across the street from the building. And I was like, I don't know why people say that the parking's terrible.
The last time I was there, I parked 2 blocks up and on a side street.
That's where I parked.
And it was raining.
Jeez. Of course.
And I was carrying digital camera equipment with me. So Jonna, who I don't know if you guys are familiar, Jonna Limachica, she owns First Angel Media, and she has her own podcast called This Is Me, where she talks to musicians and artists and creatives about them. That's why it's called This Is Me, but they get into some pretty deep conversations. But she has a few questions, which were on my list, so we'll let her ask them.
Okay.
So she wants to know, are there any fees for playing at the parking pad? Like
No,
the bands have to rent?
No, we're paying a guarantee. We pay a guarantee. The bands are supported by a $10 cover. And then we feed them a delicious smoked meat and community potluck buffet. And always ask, like, what are your favorite beers? But yeah, we pay flat. And generally it's whatever their first asking rate is, if we can meet it. We don't negotiate too much. We want to make sure that we're paying bands fairly. It's part of what we started it's part of the principles and mission that we started the parking pad on. We want to pay bands during COVID when nobody else can. And so there's definitely no fees. How do the bands get a show? A lot of times they're bands we've seen before or have kind of built relationships with from being at their shows. This year, we're saying it's our saying it's our 5th and final season of events. We may do like some one-offs here and there, but this was kind of a go big season for us, where we got some bands that we had wanted to play over the last few years and hadn't had the opportunity. And so Northside Organ Trio, who's playing our first show on May 3rd, is a good example of that. They're one of my favorite bands in town right now. They're absolutely unbelievable live, and we're so thrilled to get them.
Very cool. So now that John are going out of order for me, give me a second. Oh, let's talk about, you mentioned a Memorial Day parade.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is one of those crazy special projects that's kind of taken a long time to come to fruition. Stefan and I go to the South Hills Memorial Day parade every year, and have been saying for the last couple of years, like, we need to get a bluegrass band to play on a float. That'd be really fun. And we started talking about it recently to our friends Breeze and Jill that have some cars with Most Wanted art cars, and they were like, well, we have a float, and the Kraken, their daily driver art car, can pull it. And I was like, okay, if you can get the Kraken to pull it, I'm going to get Barnacle Feet to play. And then we worked with Dormont Arts to they're going to do a jellyfish umbrella workshop with the community, so you can come and make a jellyfish umbrella. So we'll have this like ocean flotilla in the Memorial Day parade. And it's just one of those big, big crazy ideas that I just grab onto and we've become known for. Like, what's the weirdest thing we can do in a parade? How about an ocean themed float with a rock band? And so let's do it.
Okay, so that actually, I do have one of my crazy questions I'm going to ask you, but I'm going to ask you when we come back. We're going to take our first break. I have some tickets to give away for Dressing Entertainment, and we will be right back. Those of you on the radio side, you're going to hear a new song from Death by Love called God, and you're going to hear from 13 Occult off of their new album Carnival 13. It's called You Are Us, and we'll be right back. Hey, it's that time where I am going to give away 2 tickets to a Dressy Entertainment show courtesy of Music from the 412. But before I do that, I want to mention some shows that are coming up that we have tickets to give away for. We have Crowbot at the Craft House on May 15th, the Alt Rocks at Jurgles on May 5th, the Older the Egos at Jurgles on June 13th, Clutch and Tyler Bryan and Shakedown and Nate Bergman at Ruby Amphitheater on June 17th, Fear of Preserving on May 26th, Slaughter with Truck Stop and Post Traumatic at Jurgles on June 27th, Rocket Mafia. I know there are some locals on there. I can't remember who they are currently. That is at Jurgles on July 9th. We have the legendary Buddy Guy at Capitol Theater on July 16th. 2 tickets for Billy Price at the Craft House on the 25th of July. Sweet with Creedmoors and Rattlebones at Jurgles on July 31st. Striper at Jurgles on August 17th. Bill Toms and Hard Rain with VZH&M Acoustic Union. That is August 23rd. 2 tickets for Sister Hazel with the Sages at Jurgles on August 27th. Lita Ford at Jurgles September 24th. Mushroomhead with Psycho Stick and Black Satellite at Preserving. We have 2 tickets for all of those. All you have to do is go to musicfrom412.com/contest to enter. Now I'm going to talk about the Fielder Show that's up above there for Friday, May 9th. That's what I'm giving away tickets to tonight. I had 3 people that registered. They were Melissa Zunick, Andrew Carr, and Keith Leydig. I'm going to add their names a couple more times to the wheel. Do 3. You know what? We'll do 4 this time. And then I'm going to hit shuffle once and twice and spin to find out who is going to win those 2 tickets. And our winner is going to be Melissa Zunick. Congratulations, Melissa. Keep an eye out on your email for information on how to get those tickets from Dressing Entertainment. And as always, head to musicfrom412.com for your local music needs and visit my site, buildascene.com. I am headed back to my interview with Amy and Stefan from the Parking Pad, so stick around. Hey, it's Bill. We are back. I gave away those tickets and I already completely blanked. I can't think of her name right now. That's terrible. Anyway, she's going to get an email for winning the tickets, and she'll be headed to see Filter on the 7th of May. We did hear that brand new song by Death by Love. It's kind of industrial. It's a really cool group because one of them is from Poland but lives here in Pittsburgh, and the other one, she's still in Europe. She's not in Poland. Her name is Inga. I can't remember what country she's in, but like there's literally an ocean between them. And then we also heard that 13 Occult track from Carnival 13. And with me tonight again for segment number 2 are Amy and Stefan from the Parking Pad. And when we were off the air, I was trying to tell them who I was giving away tickets to.
And we were pretty excited to try to win.
Yeah. So those of you that are just tuned into the radio side, you don't get to hear that. So you want to go to musicfrom412.com/contest, and there's a whole list of Dressing Entertainment shows that you can win 2 tickets to. And all you have to do is fill out a little form with your email address and name, and then share the event. And it's emails us. And once we pick a winner, all those emails get deleted and are not used for anything else. So literally, you can win 2 tickets by sharing the event. Okay, so the Parking Pad, as we talked about earlier, is basically it's a parking pad right behind your house, and you were talking about it being like a stage that gets completely engulfed and circled around, and we kind of touched on the tickets being $10, but I don't think we told anybody where they can get them from.
Oh yeah, you can find them on our website at www.theparkingpad.com. You can also buy hard tickets from me. I love to buy like actual physical tickets and run my little box office out of my front door here. If anybody ever wants to come to Dormont and pick up hard tickets, there's people out there that still collect those things. I always have them. I also have the only outlet for tickets to Flood City Music Festival in Pittsburgh, the hard tickets to that as well. So that's going to be a huge festival this year in Johnstown. The lineup is just unbelievable. It's headlined by Pigeons Playing Pig Pond and Government Mule.
And I think there are some Pittsburgh bands that are playing it this year, right?
Yeah, there definitely are. Yeah, the Regal Suite is playing up there. Dream the Heavy. I'll never remember the whole lineup now, but yeah, she does a really good job, or they do a really good job of mixing in the locals with these great national and international headliners.
It's a really great festival because it feels like you're in an urban setting, but it's a small town. And so if you stay at the hotel, it's a quick walk across. We try to go every year.
Mm-hmm.
Jonna and I are headed, we're headed to Altoona in about a month. And we are going to record, I guess, an episode of a new podcast, maybe. We are going to try the Altoona style pizza and see how that goes.
It's not so bad. We've had it.
We have a neighbor that helps us put the Parking Pad shows on. He's 2 houses down, and when he used to live in Altoona, that's where he grew up, and he'll bring some back for us. It's pretty good reheated.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's like thick doughy crust, and then this slice of American cheese. It's like real salty, and I don't know. That's exactly what I like cheesy and weird and salty. Those are my that's kind of my thing, I guess. I don't know, but it's a great breakfast food.
So in the window that I'm kind of sitting on here, now my hands cut off, those of you watching the video, I have upcoming events put up on your website, and we'll talk about that jazz yoga thing in a moment. But do you want to talk about the shows that are going to be on the parking pad and when?
Sure. Go ahead. You want to talk about stuff?
No, go ahead.
Oh.
You have a better handle on the dates.
I always feel like I'm monopolizing this conversation. We open it on May 3rd with Northside Organ Trio. Like I said earlier, they're one I've been trying to get for a while and really excited about. May 31st is JGBG, which is the Jerry Garcia Bluegrass tribute. And it's made up of kind of the superstars of Pittsburgh Bluegrass and sort of the jam scene as well. It's Pappy from the Cause and Joe Depp that plays with Shelf Life and the Wolf Tones, and Andy Boehm, Dave, not Dave Remo, but he'll like the shout out. But yeah, they're really fun. Wild Blue Yonder is great funk band. We saw them one time. Opened for someone at the Thunderbird and said we have to have them. That'll be June 14th. So we have 3 there kind of within 6 weeks, which is pretty intense for us. But then we take about a month and a half or so off and come back with Habitat on, what's that date?
August 16th.
Thank you. I get that one and the Sun Champs one flip-flop. That one is September 13th, and I often say the 16th or the 13th. But Habitat followed by the Sun Champs in September. The Sun Champs have never played the house before, but they played our first show that we did a couple years ago at the Hollywood Theater, and it was just incredible. It was such a good time, and we were so just kind of lucky and honored to be able to play, like to put up a band at the Hollywood and to have the Sun Champs play. And we had Big Fat Mallard open for them, which is a friend's band. He owns the brewery here, Back Alley Brewing in Dormont. And they were great, kind of funk and a little bit of hip hop influence. They started, when we booked them, they were like a 7-piece. And by the time they showed up at the Hollywood, they were like a 10 or 11. Because they had this like huge horn section. They were such a blast. But yeah, so we're thrilled to get the Sun Champs here and back in Dormont. I think it'll be their first return to Dormont since we had them at Hollywood in, what would that have been, 2022?
Yeah, they were recently on a hiatus. They're starting to come back. They're getting their warm up for the parking pad this summer, if you will. But they've been great to work with. That was really our first major show outside of the backyard. It's kind of the birth of something different.
Yeah, we were talking earlier. We got some funding to help pay for this season from Awesome Pittsburgh, which is a great little local foundation that gives $1,000 a month to a different awesome project, and so that really supports all 5 of these concerts and sets us up just to be in a really good place going into the season, and kind of get some of the expenses taken care of in advance instead of, fingers crossed, everything breaks even, that kind of thing. And so we were at a meeting with them earlier tonight, and we were kind of telling the story of the Hollywood and how they invited us to come in there. We met the manager, and she asked if we, kind of wanted to have a show, and we started talking about it. And then as we walked home, we were like, you know what we need to do this? We need insurance. And then we were like, oh, but wait, Stefan and Amy don't need insurance. We need a company that has insurance. Like, let's distance our personal finances from this big thing that we've never tried before, right? And that the Hollywood hadn't done for years. So we were able to put on this show with the Sun Champs and Big Fat Mallard and have 300 people in the Hollywood for this huge banger of a show.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and we're hoping to get back there soon. So
let's take our second break, and then we will be back. Those of you that are watching the video, make sure you pay close attention to the next screen because it's going to show you a bunch of upcoming shows with unsigned bands from Pittsburgh. We'll be back in about a minute. Those of you on the radio side, I almost forgot, we're going to hear Lone Crow Rebellion, Preacher's Son, and we're going to hear the Bell Jumpers, One More Bottle. So we're going to send a little bit of blues your way in this segment. Now. Hey, we are headed into segment number 3 of episode number 770. With me are Amy and Stefan from the parking pad. We just heard
770 is really impressive, by the way.
Well,
we're here. Oh, we're on 20.
Yeah.
So this one is 770. I have another one that's kind of on hiatus right now called 3 Questions in a Song. I want to say it made it a 110. And then I had another one that made it 4 episodes. Episode 5, we ended up recording for 3 hours, and I said I'm not editing it, and there was never another one. But yeah, so lots, almost 1,000.
Wow, that's incredible.
And it's morphed. I mean, like I was telling you guys off the air, the bands used to come here and play in my living room. And we live streamed it to streaming internet radio. And then it became just an audio podcast where I recorded it, edited it, and put it out. And now it's in its current form where we do the interview live on social media. And then the radio show follows 20 minutes later. And then it's all over the place all week until the following week, including this video will be on Roku and Fire TV too.
Ooh, that's cool.
So for anyone that didn't know that, now you do.
I think back in like 2004, I tried to convince a bunch of my friends to do a podcast, and I got my computer and some microphones, and we realized that we don't have a lot to talk about.
Not as interesting as you thought, huh?
No, not at all.
Amazing.
Well, my first episode happened on accident, and I had to call the lead singer of a band because I didn't even have a microphone. I was like, I need you to bring a microphone to my house. And that was the first episode.
Oh, wow.
And
that's amazing.
It was September 14th, 2004. Wow. So my podcast is older than all 3 of my kids.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So you mentioned the VFW a little bit. And that's more like a winter project, like.
Yeah,
that's about
generally.
Right. We started doing, we were actually coached to just rent the room by a friend of ours, saying like, you should make this the second season. I think Jess was saying, you should talk to them about going into the VFW, and we kind of were like, well, maybe. I think it was after the Sun Champ show that we decided, well, we should do something with this business now. But we usually book 3 or 4 shows there about a year, about right.
Yeah. We've done more in the past. We did take a little bit of a break this year. We did a little traveling in January, so we took all of January off, and it was a nice break. But we actually had our first foray into comedy there just last week, the 12th, April 12th, and a friend of ours is a fairly new comedian, and she took the classes up at Bottle Rocket, the Bottle Rocket Social Hall has a stand-up comedy class, and she met some people, and they wanted to produce a show, and she knows the comedy audience, and she knows the comedians, but she doesn't know how to produce a show. And so she came to us, and we were able to do that partnership with her. And so we'll probably do that again. We basically sold it out, which is about a little over 100 people there, and it felt great. It was a great night for the club, a great night for us. And then she wanted to do it every month, and we were like, "You're really high on this right now. Let's like take a week and like just like simmer and like." So we'll probably do it quarterly or so. But we were encouraged by that, and so was she, and so was the club. They'd done some comedy there in the past that wasn't as successful, and so I think that. I mean, bars and all sorts of venues can learn lessons from this. Like, you can rent a club and you can put up a show, but if you don't have somebody actually actively promoting it and really putting the legwork in, they're going to suffer. And so, and I think that's what happened with that last comedy show at the VFW. They just didn't have anyone. Like, they booked the room and that was it, and hope for the best. And that's just not how that can't work that way. So
I'm hoping there are some venue owners listening to what you just said, because there are bands that will really try and bring in people, but the venues also have to advertise.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always happen.
It's a huge push-pull between the bar owners and the bands, right? The bands think that the bar has the audience, and the bar thinks the band does. And really, they need someone in the middle that's actually pulling those audiences together and reaching them both. Yep. And that is not to say that every bar in the neighborhood should call us. It's not that kind of pitch, but like, there are people out there that are doing this work that are really good at it and can be a help to all of you. And it's not just us, but there's a need there. Somebody has to be really.
We should probably be a little more blatant about this. They do marketing and promotion. It is on the website.
Sure. We do. But I wasn't really trying to promote us in that way. It's more of a passion pitch. Like, these bands want audiences. These bars need more people to come out, and somebody that knows how to make that happen should be part of that equation for them.
And the last thing I want to touch on is you do rent your equipment and also train how to use it. Do you want to give a little information on that part of the business? Well,
the training, essentially, I would give you a rundown on how to use it. There's not enough time, I think, in a day, if you're coming in green, how to run a show, if you will. But we do that as a service as well. So we can actually rent the equipment and get you a technician for lights and sound. But no, I mean, in the training aspect of it, I've written up some work instructions, some quick start guides for them to get working, and I'm always available to call when we have rented the gear and they've had a problem. But if people are looking for training in the Pittsburgh area, I got to give a plug to Tech 25 up in Carrick. Started as the 25 Carrick project through Here Corp, and that's where I received a lot of help, getting up to speed training, because this wasn't really my industry before we started the parking pad. Learning how to run sound and lights, they were instrumental in that.
And that's they do a sound 101, a lighting 101, and live sound engineering class, and they're free to the community. They're part of it's a nonprofit organization that is training people on how to work in this industry. And so I think that,
I mean, even as far as the sound 101, they have workstations, really powerful workstations there to learn how to run DAW, like the DAWs. I think they have like Ableton on the systems. And so it would really be a good resource for musicians altogether.
Yeah.
Very cool. Hey, so before we dash off into the evening and we listen to our last two songs, I want to remind everyone to go to theparkingpad.com. You purchase your tickets there, learn a little bit more about everything that they've been talking about this evening. and you can help them support the local scene by picking up those tickets.
Come out.
And is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to mention real quick? I think we covered everything I had written down.
I don't know. We've got all sorts of things going on all the time. We have a free little music library. That's one of our fun little
I wrote that down. We didn't cover everything I wrote down. So I helped set up a free little library at my last school. So I have an idea of what you, so anyone's familiar with that, instead of library books, it's vinyl, correct?
It's 99% vinyl. Sometimes there's CDs in there, or
cassettes.
when the government center outpost closed, they gave me a bunch of cassettes. So we had a ton of cassettes in there. But yeah, it's physical media.
So it's like, it looks like a little birdhouse sort of, and
it looks like Snoopy's doghouse.
Yeah, and and you literally go there. You put something, music in, and take music out, and it's a way of sharing music in the community. And it's in Dormont. I don't remember what the address was, but if you want to rattle that off real quick.
Sure, it's 1516 Hillsdale. It's where the Parking Pad concerts are as well.
Very cool. Okay, I want to thank both of you for hanging out with me tonight.
Thanks, Bill. This was great.
And
this has been great.
Thank you. Hey, so what we're going to hear here at the end, we're going to hear a song called 5446 by Griffin Michelle. And the last one we're going to hear is Frank Muse, Jasmine. And make sure you come and hang out with us next week. Same time, 9 p.m. for the social media interview, 10 p.m. for the full radio version. And as well as always, go to buildascene.com or musicfrom412.com. And you can find this and more. Music from 412 for the uninitiated is basically MTV for the local scene. It is music videos and TV shows based on the local music scene. And then we also have a 24/7 radio station that runs kind of the deep dark tracks from signed bands and music from unsigned bands, with about, I'd say 60% of it being Pittsburgh bands. So make sure you check all that out, and we will see you next week.